Good morning, teachers, and welcome again to our annual virtual workshop. Of course, this is a medium that we'll be using to engage with you each year as we take you through the various syllabi for our subject areas. Now, we do nothing without praying. It's customary. We invite the Lord in everything that we do. May we just bow our heads just for 2 minutes as we invite the Lord's presence. Most righteous and eternal God, we thank you again for sparing our lives, for taking us here to another workshop. Though virtual, you are here in spirit, and we welcome you. We ask, O Lord, that you touch our hearts and minds, that whatsoever the presenter has to say today, that we will grasp it, and it will better enable us as teachers, as education practitioners, as an exam body to meet the needs, the learning needs of our students. We ask that you cover our students in schools, Lord. You see so many things that are happening in the classrooms. Lord, you see the strain, the stress, the pressure of our teachers. You see the challenges that our children are facing. But we ask for your grace as we are in this to make Jamaica, and by extension the world, a better place, one student at a time. So Lord, we thank you and we bless your holy name, and we invite you now to participate with us today in this workshop. Amen. Let us now hear from Mrs. Marva Duncanson, Caribbean representative for City and Guilds.
Good morning, everyone. A very good morning to you. I send warm greetings to everyone tuned into this broadcast. We are so pleased to welcome you to our annual series of tutorial workshops in math and English skills and the Skills Proficiency Awards. We continue to thank the Ministry of Education and Youth, the Heart Trust NSTA, and all our stakeholders, our dedicated principals, the loyal and committed teachers, and of course the parents who believe in City and Guilds and allow us the opportunity of certification to the young people of Jamaica. We appreciate so much the support and cooperation offered by the Minister of Education and her team of dedicated senior officers, the Permanent Secretary, the Chief Education Officer, Dr. Kassan Troop, and her deputies, the regional directors, and the teams of education officers and coaches across the length and breadth of Jamaica. The City and Guilds Caribbean office here in Jamaica and the teams in London are fully committed to supporting our students so that they can achieve their full potential. And in this regard, we try to consistently provide the highest level of customer service to enable our teachers to deliver effectively so that our learners can achieve, pass their exams, and obtain certification. I think you all know our tagline. Our tagline says it all: believe you can. Believe you can. We want our students to achieve. We're committed to producing successful persons who will take their place in society here in Jamaica and in the wider global scene. Now, friends, the last 2 years of hardship, 2 years of hardship, have shown us that our teachers are remarkably committed, talented, resourceful, imaginative, and courageous. You have navigated through unimaginable days of COVID and the resulting disruption to teaching. Who would have thought in 2020 that we would have been looking at 2 years of this unbelievable disruption to our lives? And many of us have lost dear ones in the process. You managed to normalize what has been an abnormal set of circumstances. You know, I'm constantly reminded that the 2022 cohort of grade 11 students were only in grade 9 when the pandemic was announced in March 2020. Yet, notwithstanding the disruption, an overall of 64% of them were able to achieve their certification goals for City and Guilds. I think that's quite remarkable. I think it's absolutely well done. They are to be commended. I believe we all should be so proud the teachers and students. You pulled it together somehow. So, sometimes when we're in a situation, we are so overwhelmed that we can't see the big picture. But against all the odds, our educational system has stood the test, and we thank God. City and Guilds feels privileged to offer qualifications in math and English for high school students who need an option to the regional CSEC or who simply wish to have globally recognized complementary qualifications. To date, we have issued almost 170,000 certificates in math and English here in Jamaica, and these are young people who have been able to progress with their lives. Our math and English qualifications at stage 3 are now accepted for recruitment to the Jamaica Defence Force, the Constabulary Force, the Ministry of Finance and the Public Services, and we also enjoy a MOU with the Jamaica Employers Federation. Further, we have endorsements from 72 local universities, including the University of the West Indies, the Michael University College, and the University of Technology of Jamaica, who will accept our qualifications at stage 3 in math and English for certain programs of undergraduate study. We here have some 300 schools under our stewardship, and we take this responsibility very seriously. The matter of terminal exams and the results are critical in terms of helping to shape the lives of our young people. Many of the 6,000 plus high school students who achieved our customer service qualification have been able to move on to successful careers, many in the global services sector. City and Guilds is so proud of them. We have learners here and all over the world. Our 5,000 plus certified holders of our Skills Proficiency Awards have also been able to advance their studies across the occupational pathways, or they've moved on to employment opportunities here and abroad. And we're pushing ahead. We're pushing ahead with our high order engineering program and are pleased to report that there are some Jamaican students who have been able to achieve the prestigious Level 3 Advanced Diploma. These young people are on track to receive their EngTech, Engineering Technician status, post-nominal letters that will enable them to work just about anywhere in the world. So I'm going to take a few minutes now and just go through a PowerPoint. Some of you will know about City and Guilds, but there are, I think, perhaps persons in our audience today who don't know much about City and Guilds, and I'm happy to share. So who and what are City and Guilds? We're really a group of companies. The City and Guilds Group is a leader in global skills development. We work with education providers, employers, and governments in over 100 countries across the world to help people, businesses, and economies grow by shaping skills systems and supporting skills development. The group is made up of City and Guilds, that's the exam body, the Institute of Leadership and Management, ILM, KINEO, the Oxford Group, Digital Me, and Gen2. Each of our businesses has its own distinct focus. As a group, we aim to provide comprehensive assessment, training, and learning to offer people opportunities all across the world. Together, we set the standard for professional and technical education and corporate learning and development across the globe. This is our motto. The City and Guilds of London Institute is committed to developing the skills of people and organizations to secure their personal and economic growth and prosperity. See the lion? That's us. We offer competence-based exams. And what is competence? It's the ability to perform a task or job successfully by using a combination of knowledge, skills, and attitude, which is measured across a standard. This ability can be acquired through experience and or training and demonstrated by qualifications. These are what I consider to be City and Guilds' 5 key strengths, ladies and gentlemen. The fact that we offer portability or qualifications provide learners with portability. They can move across borders and work. The fact that we have this progression approach to certification, so you can start and achieve in stages. The fact that our qualifications are recognition, very important, that wherever in the world you should go, a City and Guilds certificate is recognizable. And of course, we are heavily aimed towards employment. So employability is a key. And aspirations. Need I say more? It is so important that we help our young people to fulfill their aspirations. So we've been operating here in the region now I've been with City and Guilds for almost 20 years, and we've been operating across the region. In November 2019, we signed a third contract with the Ministry of Education and Youth. This one is a 10-year contract for the delivery of our qualifications in math and English skills, the Skills Proficiency Awards, customer service, and engineering. We've also engaged with the Ministries of Education in Barbados, Bermuda, the British Virgin Islands, Bahamas, and the Cayman Islands, where we've been registering students for math and English exams. Now, as you probably know, we award digital badges to successful candidates for math, English, the skills proficiency, and customer service. We've also been engaged by HEART for the delivery of our qualifications in math and English skills to all their students enrolled across HEART academies. And they've further engaged us for the delivery of digital badges for specific programs of study offered by the NTA. We've been engaged by the Ministry as well for the delivery of planned National School Leaving Certificates, the NSLC, which is going to be launched in this school year. And of course, we are engaged by 7 private training providers, major ones here in Jamaica, the Bahamas, Cayman Islands, and Trinidad, for accrediting or assuring programs of study. I want you to just have a quick look at this. Here's a big picture. Over a 12-year period, City and Guilds has awarded 169,000 certificates to Jamaican students. And I'm going to spend just a minute or so on the 2022 results. So the overall percentage pass rate for math from the June 2022 exams is 64%. For English skills, 78%. And the overall, that is a national average, is 69%, which is quite remarkable considering. I want to point out too that there was a first this year in 2022 where many traditional high schools, in fact 34 of the 42 traditional high schools, registered 6,000 candidates in total for our math skills at stage 3. Now you're all aware that the CSEC national performance rate was 37%. So the Ministry of Education gave the opportunity to these traditional high school students for subsidy for both CSEC and City and Guilds. I'm pleased to report that the percentage pass rate, specifically amongst that cohort, the traditional high schools, was 85%. Well done. We enjoy recognition from the Jamaica Constabulary Force, the Jamaica Defence Force, the Ministry of Finance and the Public Services, the Jamaica Employees Federation, the University Council of Jamaica, and the HEART NSDA Trust. And of course, I shared with you earlier that we enjoy recognition from 22 local universities. I'm not going to read through all of them. They include the University of the West Indies. And our Skills Proficiency Awards are available across 12 occupational areas. I'll just read them out for you. Carpentry, electrical installation, fabrication, welding and pipe works, food and beverage, food preparation, housekeeping, IT for office application, masonry, motorcycle repair, motor vehicle engineering, painting and decoration, plumbing. And as our Prime Minister spoke recently about the shortage of skilled labor, I want to point out that many of our young people are pursuing 6 of the 12 pathways that are available in construction. Here is a performance analysis over 4 years from 2019, 20, 21, and 22. So you see the number of centers participating has been growing in the first row. The registration numbers have been moving up, and I'm pleased to report that the percentage certification rate for 2022 is 56%. There are 1,894 persons who is still pending their results. Let's have a look at the customer service. I told you 6,000 Jamaican youth have been certified over the last 4 years, and our customer service qualification sits on the UK qualification framework. It enjoys the same standing as would a GCSE subject. So it's really a much regarded qualification that can be used for employment anywhere in the world. So I'm pleased to report this to you. Now our engineering, we continue to push and push with the engineering. It's currently being offered at 5 schools. So there's York Castle High School, Jamaica College, Excelsior High School, Brownstown Community College, and the Institute of International Recognized Qualification, that's IIRQ. This is a very high-level qualification. The curriculum is delivered over a 2-year period, and the assessment is across 9 exams in all, written and practical. We're looking at high-order math, physics, science. So typically this program of study is most suited to students who are academically gifted. It's the level 3 that leads to the designation of engineering technician, EngTech, which facilitates post-nominal letters. And this is being offered on the new 6th form pathway program for the upcoming academic year. Of course, we've been offering digital badging. All successful candidates for math and English, customer service, and the skills proficiency, they will receive their paper certificates, but significantly, they'll also receive digital badges next year, as indeed they did this year. So have a look at what the digital badge looks like. There's an image on this slide, a level 1 award in customer service. You would click on it, you'd be able to see the candidate's name. You could click again and there would be metadata telling you about the course itself. Teachers, I'm stressing that it's important that students have a professional email address. Here's an example, joe.brown@gmail.com. Many of them have either inappropriate email addresses, personal, or they're using the ministry's email address. And I'm advised that that has a very short lifespan. So I'm encouraging you to have your students, if they want to receive a digital badge when they achieve success, to have a registered, regular professional email address. So we have a dynamic workshop planned for you. I know you're going to enjoy today's activities and learn quite a bit. For those of you who registered, City on Deals will be awarding you with a digital badge indicating your continued professional development, and it just may come in useful at some point. My team and I are committed to our organizational values of innovation, trust, engagement, and integrity. And we will continue to support the Ministry of Education and Youth, the HEART, NSTA, and all our stakeholders to achieve the national objectives of Jamaica. We consider it a privilege, and we're happy for the opportunity to serve the government of Jamaica and our young people. Thank you for listening, and God bless you.
Thank you so very much, Mrs. Duncanson, for that comprehensive report. We'll now hear from our Chief Education Officer, Dr. Kassan Troop.
Good morning. Special morning, of course, to the leadership of City and Guilds Jamaica, Mrs. Marva Duncanson, and our team members who continue to serve this country. Special morning to our teachers. Yes, you. It's really a pleasure to have you in the midst this morning. You are our nation builders. You are our social entrepreneurs. You are our heroes without capes. And we have just celebrated World Teachers Day. What can we really do without you? You know, the research has shown that the system cannot exceed the quality of its teachers. And the pandemic has revealed how important you are in the scheme of things. We are back in the face-to-face learning environment, and you see the struggle of the school. You see the struggles of the classroom. You see what's happening with our boys and girls. That is evidence that they miss you. That is evidence that because of those 2 years, we have been set back, but I know with you, we can champion the cause of education. We can redeem this nation because you believe in what you do each day. You go to work with the passion and love for our boys and girls. And irrespective of the circumstances, I know the pay is not necessarily rewarding, but I know you continue to dig deep. You continue to give of yourself, and you continue to serve this country. Teachers, ladies and gentlemen, our heroes without capes, I thank you. I thank you for what you have done throughout this period of a difficult experience globally. I thank you for staying in Jamaica. Many of our colleagues are gone, and that is okay. People will always seek for better. But you remained and you are here. And I want to recognize you for that. I want to validate you for that. And I want to celebrate you and to let you know that the Ministry of Education and Youth is forever grateful for what you continue to do every day. You unearth talents. You help students to feel confident. You help them to believe in themselves. And I'm certain that when you see them out there and you see the excellence that they're reaping, you continue to share in that joy. I say this because I can relate to it. I've been a teacher for 9 years before I moved into administration and into the policy division here in the Ministry of Education. And I know when I see my students out there, the joy that comes to me. In fact, just this morning, I had an experience with one of my students. I went to a health center to get a vaccine because I will go on duty travel very soon. And it is my student who recognized me in mask and said, "Miss," and called my name and escorted me and helped me. And today I've been back here to bring greetings and to just recognize you for what you continue to do. That's what we do. And that's how our students make us feel. I felt very special. And I'm happy that I could have contributed to that child being the person she is today. So teachers, I know sometimes it's tough. I know sometimes you feel daunted. But I want to encourage you today. Do not give up on Jamaica. Do not give up on our boys and girls. And I know you are not giving up. That is why you have made yourselves available to be a part of this annual tutorial workshop for our teachers. Because you believe in growth. You believe in honing your own skills and building your capacity to deliver your craft. So this year again, we launch our annual assessment program for our external exams, not just for CXC, but also for City and Guilds. And each year, City and Guilds sees it fit to discuss with you the performance data of our students, something, of course, that we are proud of. You know, every year our students continue to excel at the City and Guilds exam, be it math, be it English language, be it customer service, or even the Skills Proficiency Awards. Every single year, we send up in excess of 50,000 entries, and we have our students over 60%, sometimes close to 70%, excelling at these exams. Colleagues, they can only do this because of you. And we want to validate you and recognize what you continue to do so we can reap the success that our students demonstrate in the exam. So again, we are embarking on a new sitting, and in preparing you to do your best and to help the students to do their best, this workshop is designed to expose you further to the content and to the administrative responsibilities, and most importantly, to spend some time to look at the gaps They will be looking at the results and to look at those areas that we saw particular weaknesses in. We're going to bring that to the forefront. We're going to dissect that. We're going to dig deep and we're going to examine that. And then we're going to look at how can we make sure that we don't have a repeat of that. That's what today's tutorial is all about. So colleagues, I want you to embrace this opportunity of learning. I want you to continue to appropriate whatever it is that you will leave from this workshop with to your own growth and development, to your own self of empowerment. And of course, we will see that in the results. We'll see that in how your schools continue to perform and improve. Education is that weapon that will change the lives and to break the cycle of poverty. Education is a weapon for development. And this is a gift that you continue to contribute to. As we, the Ministry of Education, put the resources in place, and I can say it will never be enough. Globally, it's the same cry. But, one hand can't clap. You will do your part. We will do our part. And we pray that the parents will continue to do their part because the demands are many. It will take a tripartite approach for us to transform this country. But we continue to do it bit by bit. So City and Guilds will continue to build the capacity of our teachers to deliver. They will continue to provide affordable programs for our students. They continue to even expose us here at the Central Ministry to other programs like the entrepreneurship program that they are carrying out that we're about to look at. They are also doing the engineering program with us. That has not been doing well, but we are going to refocus as a ministry to make sure that we are creating engineers for Jamaica. We are no longer just users of research. We want to be innovators and creators and developers and manufacturers. That's what it's going to take to transform our social and economic reality. That's what the thrust is. Quality education for all, inclusion, equity, equal opportunity, and that is what it's going to take to build Jamaica and to make it a place for us to live, for us to raise our families, for us to work and do business. That's the partnership you're in, colleagues. Let me again welcome you to this opportunity of empowerment, and let me thank you for all that you will continue to do post this experience and as you interact with your boys and girls in our own schools. God bless you and thank you. And again, keep giving your best. We are relying on you. Thank you.
You've heard from our Chief Education Officer, Dr. Cassandra True.
Let us now hear a message of endorsement from a few of our principals.
Good day, everyone. I am Aniona Jones, principal of the Marcus Garvey Technical High School located in St. Anne, Jamaica. We are the only technical high school in St. Anne, and we are committed to having all of our students certified in their various skill areas. Given the fact that our students come to us with a range of abilities, from highly proficient to functioning as many as 6 grade levels below where they need to be when they enter in grade 7, our institution has had to search high and low to find alternative forms of certification for our students. We are very pleased with the support that we have been getting from the City and Guilds team here in Jamaica in ensuring that our students are certified, whether at entry-level skills proficiency or they are certified in the post-secondary units. The City and Guilds exams are internationally recognized, and our students have been able to travel the globe with their City and Guilds certification. We are very pleased with the fact that our students get an opportunity to be certified from as early as grade 9 or 10 or 11, and that they are able to matriculate into our local NCT VET examinations. We recommend the City and Guilds program for all learners, whether you are highly proficient and you want to pursue certificate or diploma certification, or you are a struggling reader and you need a bit more scaffolding. The City and Guilds exams, internationally recognized, very easy to follow curriculum, local assistance in getting your program started, as well as recognition for what the children are able to do. We have found it very easy to transition into all of these areas, and we recommend that you try the City and Guilds certification exams.
Jamaican students in general, and I think Jamaica as a whole, did not ascribe much credibility to City and Guilds in its initial stage. But I think over the last decade or so, we have seen where the confidence and the belief and acceptance in City and Guilds would have grown, and persons now understand that they can benefit from this, not only locally, but more so internationally. At the Noon, we have carefully packaged the benefits of City and Guilds. And we have observed an increase in the interest and registration of students, especially in math and English and customer service, as well as the skilled areas. Now, many students have benefited in gaining acceptance to pursue tertiary studies, to gain employment, and some even to take it overseas. And that is one of the push here at the Noon, that some of the students, they intend to travel or work abroad. And so they want to do City and Guilds. We have seen where their confidence and the morale have both improved and increased over the few years. Now, there was a student, and I must share this story. There was a student who did a number of CXC subjects and won City and Guilds. When the results came, he failed the C6 subject and passed City and Guilds. To our dismay, he was quite delighted and happy that he passed, because, as he said, it was the first time in his immediate family that one person passed an external exam. What it does, it inspires and motivates and instills confidence and that I can do it attitude. Now, here's what the head of language department shared with me. She said, from my perspective, City and Guilds have provided more manageable options to students, and I have seen where their oral presentation skills have developed, especially those doing stage 3. We have seen where the students who have to do individual presentation have grown in confidence. She went on further to say that the students have gained confidence and recognized the journalism and public speaking skills. So previously, any such formal presentation, whether for their class or for their clubs and society, they would have shied away because they lacked confidence. But after receiving guidance and the opportunity to practice, they have blossomed. City and Guilds, therefore, to the Noon, is not only an alternative in case you fail CSEC. It is a viable, portable, and marketable option that helps students on the pathway to success. So, give it a try. What do you?
Let us now hear from our math presenter, Mrs. Tamika Lodge Fenton. She is our City and Guilds math coach. Stay tuned.
Hi, I'm Tamika Lodge Fenton. Welcome to City and Guilds Workshop 2022. Here we will review how best to engage our students with Math 3850. Now let us listen to what Gracie had to say about how we engage our students from last year.
The math curriculum, as planned, is done in small, bite-sized chunks. The objectives are such that the student is able to go through the program at their own pace, and at the end of it, experience some success as they go along. They are able to progress at their own pace, and that will be guided by the teacher, who will be taking a practical approach to the math program. The program is activity-based, so they have to be doing things with their hands. No longer can you sit and just talk to these students who have been chosen for the City and Guilds program, just talking to them all the time. You have to have them work with their hands. And after they have completed their program, they will be able to get a certificate that is internationally approved.
As Gracie said, City and Guilds is a practical course, meaning that our students need to be actively involved in the learning process. Teachers, you are facilitators of the teaching and learning process. Math 3850 offers an integrated curriculum. Now, what does that look like? It simply means it provides an activity-based syllabus which must be taken in a practical approach in small manageable units. It allows for progression of the learner's own pace, hence offering 3 stages, 1, 2, and 3. It is also internationally certified. And last but not least, this approach, when well done, will build the confidence of so many Jamaicans as they engage with mathematics.
The City and Guilds program is mapped to the National Math Standards and the CXC curriculum. In fact, it is a core of the CSEC program that was taken out and broken down into 3 stages for the students. We have provided a building block for learners who need to progress to CSEC.
Gracie reminds us of the City and Guilds standards. That is how City and Guilds math maps to the regional exam CSEC. She used the term core, which means that their content has similarities. Not all of what CSEC offers is found in the City and Guilds math, but Stage 3 math maps closest, excluding a few topics. We can also use the exam to build our learners' confidence, to progress, to engage with the CSEC content if their career path so requires.
The qualifications come in 3 stages. Stage 1, which is the beginning, then there's stage 2, and then stage 3. It is hoped that students who have completed the stage 3 can go on to CSEC afterwards. The 3rd stage, therefore, maps closest to the CSEC program. It's aimed specifically for those who plan to pursue a vocation immediately after leaving school. This program was designed for those students leaving 5th form and going straight into the world of work. As we pointed out, you have 3 stages, and it is a continuous progression through the stages. So you're building on each level. I should point out, however, that if you're doing stage 2, you will not be tested on stage 1 objectives. Even though you'll need the material from stage 1 to prepare you for stage 2, you will not be tested on those objectives specifically.
Please remember that the progression approach allows students to, 1, complete an exit exam. This would be our stage 3, which maps closest to the CSEC curriculum. 2, complete stage 1 or 2 to build up to the sitting of the CSEC exam at a later date. Please note the 6th form pathway program that mandates 7 years of schooling at the secondary level will allow for such progression.
Entry to the exam is determined by your teacher. You're given a diagnostic test. I think some of you by now have given the diagnostic test to your students. If you haven't, you will be doing so shortly. After the exam, the teacher, because she knows you, will determine exactly which stage you should sit. So that decision is made by both your teacher and your result in the exams. The results in the exams also serve to determine which stage you sit, and whatever you need to do for the exam will be determined by the diagnostic test. Candidates do not have to progress from stage 1 to stage 2 to stage 3. You can start anywhere because each certificate for the stages is a standalone certificate. So if you have a stage 2, no problem, you can move on at your own leisure.
Diagnostic testing. What does this do? Well, diagnostic testing allows the teacher to assess the learners in order to determine the stage at which they should engage the students initially. Remember, students must be engaged with the appropriate curriculum. Students do not need to matriculate through the stages, however, but if the school sees it beneficial, they can start with stage 1 in grade 10 and matriculate to stage 3 by fifth form.
Now, the stage 1 math has 8 modules and it covers 8 different units, which you will find in your handbook. The handbook becomes your Bible. It has all the objectives that you need to teach. If we look at just 1 or 2 of them, Unit 1 in stage 1 starts at sound understanding of number concepts and applications. This exam takes you right from the very basic. So no child needs to wonder if it's too hard for me to do, because once you start this program, you will go straight from the very basic math concepts. And you go through the whole of the 8 units that are prepared for you, and you sit an exam at the end of that process. Usually that is at the end of the school year. After that, you move on to stage 2 and then right through to stage 3.
The curriculum guide has all 3 stages, 1, 2, and 3 in the document. Please note that the objectives are spread over 8 units in the stage 1, starting from a basic approach to more complex concepts. Each stage is a freestanding qualification. This means a student does not have to complete stage 1 before advancing to stage 3.
As I pointed out, the objectives are set and they are given in the book. You just, as a teacher, have to just take the children through the program. Stage 1 has 62 objectives. And teachers, you have to teach every one of them. Because as you notice, the assessment criteria, 62 of them, and the items in the exam, there are 60 items in the exam. So each objective is tested. The teacher must ensure that she teaches each of those objectives. If we look at stage 2, you'll see there are 44 objectives, but it breaks out into 60 assessment items. All because one objective will say addition and subtraction of something. So that's one objective, but it breaks out into 2 questions, one in addition, one in subtraction in the exams, right? And the same thing for stage 3. There are 49 objectives and 60 test items, the same breaking out of it. I cannot overemphasize the fact that the students must do all objectives if they are going to be successful in the exams. Now, assessment is done across all 3 stages, and the exams, all of them are 2 hours, and they are multiple choice exams, right? Don't think they're easy because it's multiple choice, all right? There's that tendency, it's multiple choice, it's a walkover. It's not. You have to know your material, you have to know your content in order to do it.
So please make note, all objectives in each stage must be explored as all objectives are being assessed. The exam is a 2-hour multiple choice paper with 60 items.
I'm sharing with you the pass marks for each of the stages. It differs, and it is important that you are aware of where the cutoff points for pass, merit, and distinction falls.
All 3 stages can be awarded pass, merit, or distinction. As you can see on the slide, the criteria differs for each stage.
It's always in your handbook, so you can refer to it at any time to know what is happening. Now, City and Guilds provides material to support the teacher. All that you need to make your students successful, you are given by the office.
Just in case you're wondering, the rep office is located at 31 Upper Waterloo Road, Kingston 10. Now the telephone numbers are 876-924-7808 or 876-924-7804.
It provides you with a syllabus across all 3 stages. It provides you with a mapping of how the CSEC maps onto the City and Guilds program. So the items, the objectives that are taught in City and Guilds, you see exactly, or the items that are taught in CSEC, you see exactly where they fall in the City and Guilds program. So you know that your children are not shortchanged. And as I said before, that the students can go through the City and Guilds program and then literally graduate to the CSEC program, because the core of the CSEC program is in the City and Guilds program. We also provide you with a smart screen, which provides access to lesson plans, videos, and activities for the student engagement. Your student can move along at their own pace, and all of that is provided for them in a smart screen.
The smart screen, which Gracie was talking about, can be accessed once a password is created for you. Feel free to contact your exam coordinator or the rep office. A textbook is also available, which has math content, which is directly linked to the objectives in the syllabus. This book is available at the Media Department at the Ministry of Education. Feel free to make contact with your education officer to have access to this book. All right, math or magic?
Good win on Saturday, wasn't it?
It's about time.
Barry. Yeah?
Could I have a word, please?
Of course, Jim, yeah.
Sorry to trouble you, but
What is it?
remember you borrowed £10 from me the other day, didn't you?
Oh, yes, I did. Thanks for that. That was
Yeah,
great,
well,
yeah.
I'm a bit short, you see, and I could
No,
do...
I'm a bit short.
Yeah, no, but I need the money back if you don't mind.
Oh, right. You want it now?
Please, if you've got it.
Can you just hang on a sec, Jim?
Yeah, sure, yeah.
Okay, just a minute. Paul? I'm in a bit of trouble. I'm a bit short.
I know you are, you always have been.
No. I need £10. You've not got £10 you can lend me, have you?
10 quid?
Yeah.
I don't think I have.
Hey?
No, I've only got £5, will that do?
Well, that'll do for a start, yeah. Thanks.
Oh, you're welcome to that.
Hey, thanks, Paul. Thanks. Jim?
Yes, yeah.
You know that £10 I borrowed off you?
Yeah.
Well, I've not got the £10, but I've got £5.
Oh.
So if I give you that £5,
Yeah.
I still owe you £5.
Oh, that's fine, yeah.
Is that all right?
Yeah, of course it is.
Oh, great.
Thanks a lot,
Cheers.
Russ, yeah, good.
Hey, Jim.
Yeah, yes?
You haven't got the £10 you borrowed from me last week, have you?
Oh, I borrowed 10 quid. I forgot about that.
Well,
I haven't got... I've got a £5.
Have you?
If I give you that, will that be all right?
Well-
And I still owe you £5.
You all right, Jim? That'll
Okay?
do. Yeah, cheers.
Okay,
Good.
good.
Hey, Brian.
What is it, Barry? What?
Remember last week you borrowed that £10 off me?
Yes, I did, didn't I?
Yeah, you've not got it on you, have you, by the way?
I haven't, Barry. No, I've got a £5.
A fiver?
Yes. Would you like... I'll give you the £5.
Yeah.
Yeah, now I owe you £5.
Well, that's all right.
Is that all right?
Yeah, that's fine,
Good lad.
thanks.
Cheers, Dan.
Jim,
Yes, yeah.
you know that £10 I borrowed off you?
Oh, yeah.
I gave you £5, didn't I?
You did, yes.
Well, if I give you that £5, that's me and you square.
Of course it is.
Okay.
Hey, thanks.
Good.
Yes, good. Oh, Brian.
Yeah, what is it?
Hey,
What?
you know I borrowed £10 off you.
You did, yeah.
I gave you 5, didn't I?
I got the £5, yeah.
Well, there's the other 5.
Yeah.
Now we're square.
Oh, good lad. Barry? Yeah, you know that £10 that I owed you?
Yes, you gave me 5.
I gave you 5. Yeah, look, well, there's the other 5. Now you and I are square.
Hey, thanks, Bri.
All right, great. Cheers, buddy. Paul.
What? Here's that £5 bag. Oh, cheers, mate. Okay.
Now, this video is a classic. We had to play it twice. Now, do you understand how numbers work? Can you explain what was done here? Do you see the irony of how money circulates? I hope you did.
Now, March 2020 brings back mixed memories for our nation. It was that time that the pandemic hit and teachers had to pivot to holding classes from home. Anywhere they could find internet access, in the kitchen, in the living room, outside under a tree. But they were ready and indeed truly ready to face the challenge. But it's one that I'm sure all of you can remember with fond memories. Learning in a viral classroom changes the way students receive information. The use of an appropriate platform is crucial in teaching math virtually. Math involves a lot of applications as well as the use of hands-on material. Therefore, it is important that both teacher and students become familiar with the virtual manipulative on the platform they have to use. The quantity of knowledge in a viral classroom can be very large, requiring students to distinguish the relevant from the irrelevant and not just blindly accept all information presented.
Now we all remember March 2020, the inception of COVID, which has changed the mode of engagement in our Jamaican classroom. We were forced to engage in virtual space. This is the way of the world. This is the way the world is going, and we should continue to do so as to better prepare our students for learning, not just in Jamaica, but wherever they go.
The question we should ask ourselves as math teachers is, how can I help these students who require extra assistance to improve their ability for autonomous learning in mathematics? Here is a few suggestions I picked out for you. First, set definite learning goals, definite objectives that are reachable and achievable. No fear. The City and Guilds Handbook provides all your objectives in bite-sized chunks. They are already done for you. Then set a path to achieve these goals. That too you are assisted with. Have students perform regular self-assessment at short intervals during the lesson. That is by questioning them, letting them respond to you. Have a dual flow, a dialogue going between yourself and your students at all times. Whenever possible, incorporate polling in your presentation so that you get an immediate feedback from your students. Try to present options and alternatives for dealing with any problems that might arise. And this can be extremely helpful because children learn differently and at a different pace. So whenever they need assistance, they should be able to stop you or stop and ask questions. City and Guilds encourages autonomous learning. There is need for the teacher to provide the requisite support. As you interface with your students, identify their interests and incorporate their interests into your lessons so that they feel a part of the class. Incorporate strategies that will help students develop independent learning skills, such as peer teaching. Ask 2 students to work together or 3 so that each one will teach the other one. They will learn better sometimes from their peers than they do from the teacher. Asking open-ended questions so all students have a chance to think about what is going on. We'd like to get away from the fact that math is either wrong or right. You have an opinion, share it. Let's discuss it. Let's talk about it. If we can find reasons why your opinion is not quite right, we will share that. But it is not wrong. It is just different. Encourage and discuss dissenting views. Let your students talk to you and praise them and encourage them at all times. There is no need to put down your students and say that is wrong. Identify what your student did right and always follow up with tips for improvement. Show them where they are and where they can get to, how they move from where they are to where they want to go. A tick and a grade is not sufficient for your student. Above all, remove the fear of math. A lot of students fear math, and that prevents them from achieving. Your students can get rid of that fear if you take your time to move them from where they are to where they want to be. Think of an approach and test it. And if it doesn't work, try another one. But remove fear and the fear of failure from your students. Autonomous learning is rather difficult for some students who are doing the City and Guilds. Many of them have taken a break from math a long time now because they don't like math and hence they don't like the math teacher. Please remember, it's not you they don't like. So you have to go slowly with them as you take them through the paces. Therefore, teachers need to provide appropriate learning material for each topic. Instead of allowing your students to go on YouTube to get the material or to go on the internet, at the beginning you have to show them how to garner information from these platforms. Every effort must be made to guide students into doing this. Here I would like to suggest that you do some self-made videos for your students so that you put in the video exactly what you want them to learn at a point in time. This will get them into getting information from the internet and from YouTube. Then they can go there to get whatever they want. Make the content delivery asynchronous so that they can go and find it anytime they want. That will free up your synchronous time to collaborate with your student and work through examples and address misconceptions. Then, when they are ready, provide them with the material that allow them to explore. Because that's where we really want them to go. But I think we ought to teach them how to get there. The way the City and Guilds objectives are written, as I said, in small bite-sized chunks, tend to lead themselves to a short attention span. So if students can't sit for a whole long period, you can teach a short objective, small one at a time. So it can become a challenge for the teacher to keep the students engaged and motivated. The teacher has to be deliberate and intentional when preparing the lesson so as to keep the students focused. You must keep them in line and keep them looking at what you're doing. The students have to take charge of their own learning, but the teacher must facilitate and guide them. They cannot be left on their own. To obtain good performance in math, teachers need to promote engagement in the virtual classroom. It's important to create a sense of community and provide opportunity for socialization between and among your students. Right now, your students are isolated, so every effort must be made in the classroom to have them socialize. In the virtual math classroom, difficult though it may be, the teacher should design ways to constantly evaluate the progress of the student to ensure that no child is left behind. Every child can learn, every child must. That is still our mantra.
Thank you so very much for sticking and staying with us throughout the presentation. Now, you're at liberty to take a break. We don't want you to be fatigued, all right? So we're going to be sharing the link to our survey as we want to hear from you what your experience was, as we want to improve your experience each year. So look out for that in the chat and feel free to ask any questions as our presenter is available to answer them.
Let me start that one here. Like how Martin Luther King would have started. My dream, my dream, my dream, my dream, my dream. Tell you my dream is to live my dream. Hear the most I in me sleep when me sleep. Tell you my goal, my goal, my goal. All of my goal is to reach my goal. Live a happy life, put it on me headstone. Nobody no fi cry over me dead. Look at me now, when them treat me less than gold. Put me in a box like a rectangle. Oh oh, look at me now. Oh, look at me now. Oh, look at me now. And me just tell you my life, where them used to go round me, go round. No one used to come round me. My life was so lonely. Look at me now. Look at me now. Look at me now. Me a take plane like JUTC. When you see me, it's on TV. Shows after shows after shows after shows. Tours after tours after tours after tours. When me name call is like roars after roars. Sweet melody and chorus after chorus. Them lock a one door, me bust doors after doors after doors after doors after doors after doors. Look at me now, where them treat me less than gold. Put me in a box like a rectangle. Oh oh, look at me now. Oh, look at me now. Oh, look at me now. And me just tell you my life, where them used to go round me, go round. No one used to come round me. My life was so lonely. Look at me now. Look at me now. Look at me now. The blessing does a flow over. This a copia and a cover. Jaja soldier from boardhouse to sidewalk to leather sofa. Them say me living at the coast and no track, no sir. Me no mix up in a coca. Marijuana no dust to the nose ya. I no powder, not a obia. Can't get over. Look at me now, where them treat me less than gold. Put me in a box like a rectangle. Oh oh, look at me now. Oh, look at me now. Oh, look at me now. And me just tell you my life, where them used to go round me, go round. No one used to come round me. My life was so lonely. Look at me now. Look at me now. Look at me now. Me a thank God for me blessing. No me can afford to give back to some of the same people. Them we used to set things, all who used to set him. Now bust him, can't bust them. Same one I take bus, come on stage trophy, call up them. But me still a call up them. Bust them but me can't trust them. See them but me not touch. No hate them but me can't love them. From Trenchtown, Annex, Star Rise again. Look at me now, where them treat me less than gold. Put me in a box like a rectangle. Oh oh, look at me now. Oh, look at me now. Oh, look at me now. And me just tell you my life, where them used to go round me, go round. No one used to come round me. My life was so lonely. Look at me now. Look at me now. Look at me now. Look at me now, where them treat me less than gold. Put me in a box like a rectangle. Oh oh, look at me now. Oh, look at me now. Oh, look at me now. And me just tell you my life, where them used to go round me, go round. No one used to come round me. My life was so lonely.
Like the caterpillar that becomes a butterfly, you too were born to fly.
I was born with everything I need to be me, with wings inside my mind to set me free. I know I've got vision more than my eyes can see, and I know I rule my destiny. So no matter how hard you try, no, you can never change my mind. I know if caterpillars can fly, so can I.
So can I, yeah.
I know if caterpillars can fly, so can I. Hey, watch out now. This a for every caterpillar member say you can't fly. Don't watch no mosquito or no sandfly. Don't sit down and complain, get up and try. Said the word, the whole universe comply. Aye. Work on your goals and build them. Take time and sharpen your skills then. And your dreams don't make no one kill them. Them soon see your wings them. And no matter how you try, there's a fact they can't deny. If caterpillars can fly,
so can I.
So can I, yeah. I know if caterpillars can fly, so can I. So can I, yeah. Yes, I know that I can fly. But I've learned the laws of life. I know that caterpillars can fly. So can I. So can I. I was born with everything I need to be me. Wings inside my mind to set me free. I know I've got vision more than my eyes can see. And I know I rule my destiny.
So no matter how you try, no, you will never change my mind. I know if caterpillars can fly, so can I. So can I, yeah. If caterpillars can fly, so can I.
So can I. Oh, yeah. If you give a little more than you take, and if you try to fix more than you break, if you're the kind who takes the time to help a stranger in the rain, there's a place for people like you. If you stand up for those down on their knees and lend a voice to those who cannot speak, if you shine a little light, give sight to the ones who've lost their way, there's a place for people like you. I've heard up there the streets are made of gold, and when you get there, there's a hand to hold. I believe when your days down here are through, there's a place up there for people like you. If you walk around with your heart on your sleeve, and if you're trying to be the change you wanna see, if you lay down your life for love so someone could be saved, there's a place for people like you. I've heard up there the streets are made of gold, and when you get there, there's a hand to hold. I believe when your days down here are through, there's a place up there for people like you.
I've heard up there the streets are made of gold. And when you get there, there's a hand to hold. I believe when your days down here are through, yeah, there's a place up there for people like you. I know you're out there, so keep doing what you do. 'Cause there's a place up there for people like you. Out of many, one people we are.
Well, let's look at a few effective ways to engage our students. But just before we do that, teachers, I know that coming back into the space where you're now face to face with these learners after 2 years of having virtual learning, it's going to come with its challenges and its struggles. You yourself are now readapting to the classroom, and students, wow, we know how this is. They already had their issues for coming out to school, but now they've gotten accustomed to having class in the comfort of their home. So we know that they're not really in the mood to come out, and there's a lot of fatigue for both teachers and students. But as we venture back out in our face-to-face, which is what we are doing now, I want us to look at some ways in which we can engage our students so that we can maximize, optimize learning in the classroom. All right, so we're going to look at 5 effective ways to engage students. Now, these are not the only 5 ways, but we just want to equip you with the tools that you need to be successful as this school year progresses. 1, model as you teach. Now, what is that? I want you to display the methods that the students can use to come up with solutions. Make sure that you include several different demonstrations for each new unit. As some learners, as you all know too well, will need more than one example. This is a big part of committing new ideas to memory. So you want to make sure that you're putting more than one examples on the board. You'll see a big difference in visual students. Now we need to pay attention to our different learners and their learning styles within our class. So these visual students, the ability to work through items on their own when you implement this method will be really helpful for them. Don't just work it out, but have them work it with you as you guide their thinking process. How do you guide their thinking process? You will have cues, you'll have ways in which you probe them. Make sure when you're going to class, you have a set of questions, probing questions to get the students' thinking process out there. You know, you have to train them to be critical thinkers. Students need to be actively involved in the teaching and learning process. This is not a passive thing. We live in an era where students they have so much to say and so much to offer. Let us use it in the classroom. So as you model as you teach is one effective way to engage students. Number 2, make mistakes. I know it may sound weird to some persons, but it is okay to make mistakes if it is planned. Students see teachers as the ultimate resource when it comes to learning. You and I know this all too well. So when we teach a new concept, yes, be on point. Ensure that you know exactly what you're teaching by doing sufficient research and planning well. But a great teaching tool can be to make an intentional mistake and have the class critique your work and make the corrections. This will require higher order thinking and of course collaboration. skills will be explored here. Students will work together to see what's wrong and how to come up with viable solutions. This is an excellent method to use in your classroom. So that's 2 down. Remember the 2? We had model as you teach, make intentional mistakes, and number 3, utilize visual aids. Visual aids such as smart boards and projectors can really ramp up your lessons. Some learners can absorb information and have a deep understanding of it from the lecture method alone. We know this. Some of us are fine sitting down and just listening to persons and we get what we want to get. Other learners who are visual learners will need something more. Since you need to appeal not only to one type of learner, you using visual guide will be your best friend. Try displaying informative graphics that relates to your lesson on the board or projector. And if you have the ability to send the messages, if your school allows it, to the student's phone in a WhatsApp where they can view it individually, that can also be added to the lesson. Reference these illustrations as you speak to allow everyone in your class to get what they need out of the lesson. Remember, we have to cater to all the learners as best as possible as we engage them. Now, teaching the content, statistics, and geometry. This is extremely good to make sure when you're teaching about the graphs, you have an actual diagram of the graph you're engaging the students with in order for them to see it, interpret it, help to plot one, whatever it takes for you to fully get the students engaged in the process, their learning process, the teaching and learning process. We don't want any passive learners. We want students who are actively involved, who are ready, and who are intrigued each and every day. Now, math is a practical subject, and we need to remember that when we are engaging our students in math, we have to make it as real as possible. When you are using these visual aids, wherever the opportunity lends itself for you to find real life application as it ties into the concept that you're doing, do that. It may be even a little video. It may be a picture that you may ask the students to talk about and see what's happening. What are they thinking? Get an insight into how they view different things, and then you build on that. All right, so we've discussed 3 effective ways so far. I hope you remember them. Model as you teach, make intentional mistakes, and utilize visual aids. Now, don't get me wrong, it doesn't have to be visual aids with technology involved. The visual aids could be a chart. It could be different items that are found in their environment as well, depending on what you're teaching. All right, if it's measurement, you could actually get different packages with different measures on it and have it displayed in your class. But don't rely on talk and chalk, lecture method. That's old school, and we are so advanced and so ready for this 21st century learning that, we're going to try new methods in order to get our students on board. A 4th method of effective engagement of our students is let the students teach. You ever thought about that? I know we do presentations, I know we do projects, and we have them report on the project, but what about giving them a part of the topic to be taught? Now this is going to take good preparation. So letting students lead the class in teaching requires preparation and deep understanding of the content. Not only on the student's part, but the teachers must be comfortable with the content that he or she is going to allow these students to teach, because he or she now is going to critique what the students are doing, and that's the last part. The teacher will have to help the students plan and prepare to deliver a lesson that he or she will sit down and be proud of.
So you can do this by assigning tasks individually or break up students into groups. Now, of course, you know the 21st century talks about these 4 C's, and creativity, collaboration, and communication is very important. Therefore, when we carry out this method by letting our students teach, we're facilitating these 4 C's in our classroom. And that is excellent because we have to have critical thinkers now in the world that we live in. Long gone the days when you just get information and you just read it and that don't work anymore. That does not work. Every student that we're engaging with needs to be able to apply the information, the knowledge, I should say, the information that they're gaining. That means we're increasing their knowledge to be appliers. Appliers is a term. They're supposed to apply all that they would have learned to real life situations. And that is the aim of City and Guilds, of course. City and Guilds Math is aimed towards equipping our students to function in the world with the everyday mathematics skills. So whether it be stage 1, 2, or 3, the students, after they would have engaged with the curriculum, will or should be able to communicate, being numerate, to communicate in the world as they go about their everyday life. All right. So remember now, making the students teach. Make sure you mentor and guide them to be successful in the process. The goal of this strategy is to get your students to display the knowledge they have and to share it with their peers. So please, we are not going to let them teach and ridicule them and allow the students to ridicule them as they are up there. The aim of this is to ensure that your students become so confident in doing their own research and preparing a topic to share with their peers. So your aim as a teacher, the facilitator, is to guide this process so that every group that you put in front of your class succeeds, that they make the best of the opportunity, and you know that peers listen differently to each other. The voice of a classmate can be tremendous in the teaching and learning process. It can also build confidence and self-efficacy in your students when they realize that you have faith in them to lead the class with a specific topic. So you don't want to leave anyone out. If you're going to employ this method, form your groups and different sections of the curriculum, different units, parts of it. Don't give them too much that you know that they can't handle. Give them sections that you know that they will do well with. And let them teach. Let them show you how great they are, and let them realize how you trust their ability to do well. In order to give a quality lesson, you will need to put extra time into making sure they fully understand what is required of them. When you create the right atmosphere with your learners, if they struggle as they prepare, they will be motivated to ask questions in order to complete their task. Now, that is the kind of relationship you want to establish with your students. You want them to have confidence in themselves and have confidence in you, that when they come to you because they're stuck or because they're struggling, you are there to help. You are there to correct. You are there to guide. So our teachers, our facilitators, I need you to understand that the teaching and learning process is not just about giving information, but it's about engaging your students in such a way that they want this information that you are helping them understand. Because really and truly, we're no more pillars of knowledge. The internet is the pillar of knowledge. Information is out there, but it is the process of understanding the information and using it
well, applying it to different situations, that's where teachers come in. And once we can get that in our heads, that as facilitators, we're just helping students understand, categorize, organize the information that is out there for everyone, that's when we start to do tremendous work as teachers within this particular time that we're in. You can help your students prepare for this assignment by offering a rubric that outlines the areas in which they will be critiqued, right? So you want to develop this level of professionalism with not only the group that is presenting, but the class members, the rest of the class must understand how to behave to allow every group to present excellent. You might give points based on the lesson length, the preparation, and the creativity of the lesson. The weight of each section will depend on the project and also your preference. Some teachers also allow the class to grade section of the assignment. So you can have a part where the students can chime in and actually give a grade that you will use to go towards the group overall scoring. If you choose to go this route, however, please make sure you have a scoring guide for the class and you familiarize them with it before the actual session takes place. This way, each student knows how to grade the teacher or the presenter, however you want to term the person. So we've looked at 4 effective ways. Just to remind those, if you're coming in, we have model as you teach, make mistakes, and those are intentional mistakes, of course. Utilize visual aids, let your students teach. And the 5th method that we'll be looking at this afternoon is integrate technology into the classroom. Now, I know that many think that this is spoken about too much. I guess we could say it's overplayed, it's overdone, but really and truly, we live in an era where you don't have to write a letter to get a message to people. You send a text, you pick up the phone, you call them. So we live in a world where these kids are technology natives. They were born in a time where everything is at their fingertips. They don't even have to type anymore. Do you believe that? You have Google Lens, you have Google Voice, so you speak what you want, or you take a picture of something and Google searches it for you. So let's pay attention. Technology can be one of the most powerful tools you have at your disposal. And that's the truth. Don't get sidetracked because the kids are on their tablets and their phones. That's what they were born into. Therefore, let us channel this search, this drive where we want it to go. So when you're in class, don't use it as a hindrance, but use it as something to enable them to do better, to engage with the correct content by guiding them. That is why we're still in the system as educators. We are the guide, the facilitators for the students. It is essential. It is an essential part of modern jobs and has a lot to offer in the way we educate. I want us to get that in our head. Many of the jobs that these students will go into requires the use and understanding of technology. All right? When you're sharing a document now, you can work on a document in real time in Google Docs. So gone are the days where you have to meet in a physical space to carry out group work. You can just open a document and everyone is shared on this document and everyone is in their own space working collaboratively on the same document. So let us use these things and ensure that our students are guided properly as they engage with technology. Computers, laptops, tablets, smartphones can allow you to enhance your lessons with online educational activities. There are several free resources that you can access with a simple Google search. Try looking up educational games and videos. You can play some free math games in class time as long as it is tied into the concept that you are exploring. So it means though that you're going to have to plan. You're going to have to pre-search and ensure that the content that you want to engage the students with is appropriate for the class, appropriate for the level, right? And of course, there are some things that you must pay attention to. The language of the video, sometimes you have some very deep accent on educational videos. You want to make sure that you don't choose those that the students will struggle with. Also, authenticity is important. The experiences of the learners in front of you must be taken into consideration when you're going to share a game or a video. If you think that they may not relate to the images or the terms, the slangs, the language, ensure that you preempt the video, that you prepare them for what is to come. You explain before you throw them out there and let them feel like they're incompetent to partake in an activity. It is our duty as educators to not only impart knowledge, well, it's not, as I said before, we're not imparting knowledge anymore, to help students engage with knowledge, to help students understand their world and apply the concepts that we will help them understand to their real world. That is not only our function, but we socially equipped our students to function not only here in Jamaica, but wherever they may go. So in doing so, you can't show them everything that is just in Jamaica, clearly. You'll have to expose them to other cultures and other things, but do it in such a manner that they are willing and enthused to learn the new things, because they realize that that's learning. New things, change, something different. It's okay, because I will help you understand the difference, the different things that you will engage with. All right. Your students will enjoy the times they spend online if you help tailor it, and also gain a deeper understanding of your classwork. So make sure whatever you're sharing, the video, the game, ties into the concept that you are engaging the students with. Don't let it just be a random video and a random game because we said technology must be included in the class. Use the resources you have at your disposal to your advantage. You don't have to invent the wheel. The wheel is already here and it's rolling around. We have all sorts of car and we don't need to invent it. We just need to pick it up and use it so that it enhances the teaching and learning process. Technology is here. It's here and it's advancing each and every day. So let us include it in how we engage our students. This way, you will have a more engaged and motivated group of students as a result. So that being said, you have 5 additional ways. So there are several more out there. And as educators, I hope you realize that it is important to constantly grow. What does that mean? Do some self-research. When you are stuck with a group of students and you can't seem to get through to them, it's okay. Research it. That's what I do. I research when I cannot reach a set of persons that I'm trying to educate, trying to engage. I go and look for other ways in which I may engage them. Some ways will work and some won't. But as true educators, we have to believe, we have to stand on the premise that we are growing each and every day, and there's always learning. We are what we call lifelong learners, because that's what we're selling. We're selling to our students that they can learn. Each day when they come to school, they are to learn. So each day as we engage them, let us try and learn something new each and every day. Thank you so very much, and I hope these methods will help you in your class. So now that we have looked at a lot of the things that City and Guilds involves, I want us to pay attention, a little bit more attention to stage 3. City and Guilds, or CSEC. Now, let us look at how the City and Guilds Stage 3 is compared to the CSEC curriculum. Now, here we have computation, which is the first section in the CSEC curriculum. Now, as you can see stage 1, 2, and 3 being displayed on the right side of the slide. Now, the X means not included, and the tick indicates that it is included. Now, as you can see, stage 1 just have a few of those objectives being explored. Stage 2 has more, only one of the objectives isn't being explored. And if you look at stage 3, all the objectives are covered in the stage 3 curriculum. We'll move to section 2. Section 2 here is number theory. And I know you're quite aware of what the X and tick means by now, and you can look over by the stage 3 column that all of them are included except for a little variation with objective 4 and objective 8. So as I said before, stage 3 maps closest to the CSEC examination. Section 3, consumer arithmetic. Here you can see most accepting one of the objective is not covered in the stage 3 and even the stage 2. As you can see, stage 1 does not cover anything under consumer arithmetic. And as you explore the curriculum in your own time, teachers, you'll realize why stage 1 is the preliminary stage. And if students are really struggling with math, but you do want them to engage in it in such a way that they can access mathematics skills that helps them to function in the real world, this is where stage 1 would come in play. We're at section 5. Section 5 has to do with measurement. There are some variation in how the content is engaged with or explored. However, all the objectives that the CSEC is measuring is being measured or being engaged with in the stage 3 City and Guilds. This is awesome. So I know a lot of persons did not really look at how the City and Guilds exam maps the CSEC, but I want us to understand that it's a lot of content that the students will be engaged in if they do decide to complete stage 3 City and Guilds. We're here now looking at section 6, statistics. There are a few things you see. Objective 8, 9, 10, and 10 are not included in the stage 3. However, the majority of the objectives do map onto the City and Guilds stage 3. And we go to section 7, algebra. Now, as we stated before, that there are some content that will not be explored in the City and Guilds exam. However, you can clearly see that several of the algebra units are mapped to stage 3 City and Guilds exam. Let us continue to look at section 8. Here we are looking at section 8, 9, 10, and 11. Now, there is no trigonometry or geometry, vectors, or matrices in the stage 3, in any of the stages, I should say. But there are topics covered under the not relation functions and graphs, but basic geometry. So there are geometry objectives being covered in the City and Guilds, more so in the stage 3 syllabus. So this is an overview of how CSEC and City and Guilds exam maps, or the objectives, how they map onto each other. Now, assessment strategy and learning objectives. We need you to understand how to use your syllabus or your curriculum guide. As previously said, all 3 syllabuses for stage 1, 2, and 3 are in the same document. And the units are clear and easy to understand, and you can follow it in the best way that you know how to. All right, so let us look at some of the strategies that are out there for assessment and the teaching and learning. All right, we all want our students to do well. So let us see how best to do this. There are types of assessment that we need to pay attention to, and the City and Guilds embrace this type of assessment. There's a diagnostic test which is done initially before the students engage with the content. The diagnostic test will provide information on where to start each child. The learners need to be placed in either stage 1, 2, or 3. Therefore, that's the use of the diagnostic. The formative assessment will be used throughout the time that the child is engaging or the learners are engaging with the content, and you are better able to decide if they are ready to move to the next stage or even move to sit in the CSEC exam. And of course, your summative exam will let you know if you would have been successful in being certified in either stage 1, 2, or 3. So that's pretty much the type of assessment that you'll be engaged with. Now, voices from the field. Let us listen to what's happening out there with the persons who are already engaging students with the City and Guilds curriculum.
My name is Nigel Bowie. I am a mathematics teacher at Clancarty High School, where I've been teaching math for the past 2 years, and I've also been teaching City and Guilds for the past 2 years as well. So the main challenges I have encountered during teaching for the past school year are absenteeism, students' willingness to complete tasks, and access to reliable internet. Some students would be present for the majority of the teaching sessions, but absent for some of the assessment sessions. So during the past year, I predominantly assess students learning with quizzes. So let we take a look at the quizzes I have opened. Some of the browsers. So not this one, over here. Yeah. That's Kahoot right there. So quizzes, I have my library where I would store the quiz based on the topic that I'm assessing the students at. So I have several topics. So we assess them with quizzes. That's one of my predominant. So we recently did metric and imperial units. So I assess them with 33 questions. You can make the question types vary. So you can have true and false, multiple selection. You have different types of questions. You can set a time for each specific question. So if there's a problem question that you want them to spend more time on, you can also do that. So I was able to do that. So that's one of my predominant ones. So quizzes, several things are there for quizzes. So with quizzes, Kahoot, and so Kahoot is pretty similar to quizzes over here. I'll have to go in, so continue for free. So it's a free Kahoot. Both of them give them the game feature, so it's pretty the same idea, that assessment, they're being graded, but it's that game feature that stimulates them to want to complete each of these tasks that you would give them via these platforms. So the students love the quizzes and Kahoot, but they did not provide a true measurement of the students' learning, as because of the game feature, the students would try to complete the task fast to get more points rather than getting more accurate number of questions. So that's one of the drawbacks for it. And another one is enough time. Students don't spend enough time answering each question, because you can see the time they spend on answering them, especially the quizzes. If when you finish the topic, you go in reports, and the report will give you the average for the entire quiz, and also each person grade, what they got wrong, number of time they spend on it, which problem was more challenging for the students overall. So you can start from there when you are reviewing. So that's very good aspect of using quizzes, the analysis. So the metric, you can see I had 45%. For this class, it wasn't a lot of students turn out. So versus that's not City and Guilds, I had a 60 there, and that was matrices, students doing matrices. Before, the students had the same imperial that was prior, still 4 persons, and it was 61%. So if you select on it, you can assess it based on questions as well. So you can see the different students and what they got. If I go on the question though, it tells you where each of them select. And if you click on the students individually, you can see how long they spend on each question. So like this one, they spend 35 seconds. The one that got incorrect, 7 seconds. So there was not enough time to think about it. Spend a minute, they got it correct, 45 seconds, got it correct, 45. This 18 seconds, still got it correct. This one, 14 seconds, they don't get it correct. So it tells you the number of time, how long they spend on each question as well. So that is one of the drawbacks to it. So also in addition, the unwillingness to complete tasks. So fewer students completed class activities compared with quizzes and Kahoot. Unreliable internet connection prevented some students from accessing quizzes, Kahoot, and Zoom sessions. So the first step I took in overcoming these challenges is reflection. So I always reflect on my previous semester and here to see where I went wrong, what I could have done better if I use the correct approach or methods among other guiding questions. So I have several questions to guide me to reflect so I can see how can I better plan for the next semester, because I like improvement. I like my students getting good grades, and I believe there's a correlation between the quality of the teacher and the quality of the students. So if I'm a quality teacher, I can produce quality students that get good grades and who demonstrate conceptual understanding of the concepts and topics that we're teaching. So I try to overcome challenges with Kahoot and quizzes by using different types of questions, and not just multiple choice and true and false, but also short answer questions that they require them to input their answers rather than selecting from the ones that are already there. So it required them to think more and to slow down a little. So that's one that I've tried. It was not as effective as expected, but some students would enter ridiculous responses that does not indicate any thinking about the problem. So we know the person that are actually thinking, so you can have a one-on-one with those persons, speak with them, what's happening, how can you address it? And so it helps with the way you provide feedback to students. However, it worked for some students, and I believe it's a good strategy. As I just explained, even when they enter ridiculous question, you can use that as a guide to further your feedback and to get to the students so you can provide the relevant or necessary remedial work that may be needed. So another thing that I did or I'm doing is to make Google Forms my main method of assessment, because Google Forms doesn't have the game feature, so it's close to the regular face-to-face exam that they will have. So when you have like tests that you want to ensure you get a good measurement of their learning, you use Google Forms, it analyzes it for you and everything, and they can do it at any time. So if they have internet connection issues, you just open the response so they can do it at the time that the internet is working. So that's a good thing about the Google Forms. You can make it short answer questions. You can make it multiple choice, true and false. It's flexible as well, but the game feature is not there. So it slow them down to make them think more rather than just want to get over with it. And I also use live worksheet. So live worksheet, you enter. So you create an account, free account, and you can create worksheet, or you can just use worksheet that persons have. And when you give the students, they enter your information, and then all the grades, no, it's not under mailbox. It should be my workbooks. It will mark the students' grades automatically, and all of it will come right here. However, when you're using the free feature, once it passes a certain time, it automatically deletes. So I guess mine have deleted because it's past the last ones I gave the students past a particular time. So it would come up here, says they can do it as or homework, classwork, you don't make it multiple choice. It forces them to answer the question and enter their own individual responses as well. So therefore, it takes a variety of instruments to truly measure students' learning in the virtual environment. Before the pandemic, I had the issue of absenteeism. I created an online platform that allows students to view notes, examples, and videos, as well as complete activities, which is similar to the learning management system that we have. And as such, the Google Forms also allow for that. However, we have to I realize as I go by, the notes need to be as simplified and at their level as possible to encourage individual learning or students to go there and review if they see too much notes and they feel discouraged. But if it's organized in a way that they can easily understand and use and manipulate, then it will encourage them. So if I miss class, Google Forms, even if I don't miss class, it's still Google Forms. Sir is teaching, I don't fully understand this way, or let's see how it explain on Google Forms. So it's very important. So the learning management system is very important. So that's how I've been manipulating the pandemic. It wasn't a big hit for me because I was always a teacher who likes this online. From I was doing my bachelor's, I fell in love with the course called Intro to Technology, and it was very good. We created different platforms that would teach students online and stuff like that. So it was pretty cool, and it prepared me for what happened when the pandemic hit. So I was prepared for the situation, and I'm comfortable with it, even though I expect for us to go back because some of the students are not as comfortable as I am as a teacher. So yes. Hope you can take something from my video and apply it in your class. So again, my name is Nigel Bowie. I teach mathematics teacher at Clancarty High School.
This online teaching, quote unquote, the new norm, has been challenging to both teachers and students. The students are not motivated to attend classes, as they would sometimes tell you, it doesn't feel like they are at school because there are so many distractions at home. Hence, the teachers have to be constantly trying to find innovative ways in which to motivate them to attend classes and to do their work. I, for one, have tried to give incentives and try to associate the material to their everyday life as much as I possibly can. For example, last school year, I taught percentage to a stage 1 group of students. The objectives of that lesson were: 1, to calculate the percentage of a number, and 2, to express a number as a percentage of another number. To assess that lesson, I gave the students 5 questions, each valued 2 marks. The questions were based on discount, profit and loss, and sales tax. At the end of the test, I had a Google Meet with them where I worked the question on my Jamboard for them to see, and then I have them grade their own paper. Of course, I gave them the rubric. For example, the question, a blouse is advertised at $3,500. How much does a customer pay for that blouse after a 20% discount was given. So if a student wrote 80 over 100 times 3,500, that student would score 1 mark. If the answer is correct, then the person would score another mark. If a student wrote 20 over 100 times 3,500 and got $700, that student would score 1 mark. If the student subtracted now that 700 from 3,500, then the student would get 2 marks. When we were finished all 5 questions, the students gave me their total out of 10, which I recorded. Then I asked each student to give me their total as a percentage of the 10 marks. When this was finished, then it was time for incentive. The person who got 100, which it was only one person, got a $200 phone card. The next 5 top marks, each student got a $100 phone card. And then the next 10, each got 5% bonus mark. The students were very excited and could not wait for the other test to see what the incentives were going to be. My biggest challenge, however, is that enough students are not attending classes. I am yet to have a 50% attendance at any one class.
Virtual assessment. Now it's important. We have been introduced to a virtual space, to understanding that Jamaica has to get on board with, using not only instruction in a virtual space, but virtual assessment is important. There are many things out there you can use to assess how the learners are doing. You can use your Google Forms, you can use your Quizos, and all other applications are out there. So as you engage your learners in the City and Guilds curriculum, be creative. Find a way to assess your students, not only writing on paper and stuff, but use virtual assessment platforms that you can get quick results that you can actually share and give good feedback to your students. Now, authentic assessment. What does that mean? Authentic assessment. We should create assessment plans or assessment instruments that fit the learners that we have. Let it be something that they can relate to. Let it be applicable to their experiences. It's not a one-size-fits-all. It's not using assessment just straight across. Even within the same school, you may assess students in a particular class differently from how you assess others. So when we talk about authentic assessment, let the assessment that you're using fit the learner's experience as you try to gather data to make the teaching and learning process much better. Testing. Now, assessment is done across all 3 stages, which we said, and we're just reminding you that the stage 1 assessment is different from the stage 2, and that is also different from the stage 3. Each exam is a 2-hour multiple choice paper. And I haven't said it yet, but calculators are not allowed. Calculators are not allowed. All right, here we have the City and Guilds passes, and we would have looked at the pass, the merit and the distinction. And just to remind you that each stage comes with its own criteria on how pass, merit, and distinction are awarded. Students need a math qualification. Why not City and Guilds? It is a viable option. Let us have a look at our 2022 results of traditional high schools who participated in the Double Subsidy Initiative. Let us listen to some voices in the field once more.
My name is Kimberly Miller, teacher of mathematics at the Vauxhall High School. I am just going to share with you some of the challenges that we had in preparing our students for the City and Guilds examination for last year, and some of the strategies that we used. Now, the main challenges with assessment is that many students were not logging on to the online classes. We had unpredictable internet service. We were not able to effectively teach the skill areas, for example, using the protractor, ruler, etc. And we were not sure whether the students were doing their own assessment activities or not, because we were in the online space. Now, the strategies used to overcome all of those is, number one, we organize our Google Classroom in such a way that students would know what we did for that class session. So if a child was having internet issues for the class session, they would be able to go to Google Classroom, and the Google Classroom would be organized in dates. So they would go to that date, a register would be posted to keep track of persons who have logged on to the space. The resources would have been posted under that date, and this would basically encourage independent study. Now, this is an example of how the classroom space was organized. So there is a register, there is videos, there were charts, and a homework activity. Now, the tools that we used for assessment was mainly a Google form. In the Google form, we wrote multiple choice questions, short answer questions, and we wrote questions. So students would write the solution in their books, take a photo, and upload it to the Google form. Now, these are examples of the multiple choice questions on a Google form, short answer questions, and this question, the students were supposed to write the solution in their book and take a photo and upload. So this is how we utilize the Google form in assessing our students. We also use the free online resources available to us for assessment. For example, Quizizz.com, deltamath.com, and there are many others. Now, I am just showing you an example of a question on Delta Math. This is to basically measure angles. So the student would have to use that yellow dot right here, and they would need to open the protractor to 98 degrees. So this is basically teaching a skill, or the skill of, well, estimating angles using a protractor. Another example of a question in Delta Math, student would just enter their solution and click on submit. More examples. Now, this question is basically a developmental question where the students were asked to count the unit cubes within this rectangular prism and actually come up with the final solution. So basically this was our main tool from last year, and it's deltamath.com. So it has been effective and we continue using it, and basically these were the strategies that we took. Thank you guys for listening. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Everyone, I am Winofia Small Chinqui, a mathematics teacher at Mile Gully High School. The platform that we use to teach online is Google Classroom. In addition, we use WhatsApp as a supporting tool to communicate with our students and provide learning materials. Teaching mathematics online has been challenging at our school, as many of the students either do not have a device or have low or no internet access at all. As a result of these challenges, only a few students complete assessments and submit them on a consistent basis. The following are the main methods which are used for assessments. Google Forms. Google Forms were prepared using the multiple choice format. For this method, the students are able to receive immediate feedback on their performance, and teachers are able to see a summary of the performance of all students and hence provide adequate and appropriate feedback as found necessary. A link for the forms is usually posted in WhatsApp for students who are unable to access the Google Classroom directly. In addition, City and Guilds sample practice papers are also posted for students to answer questions and upload their responses for teachers to mark. For additional practice for students and continuous assessments, online tools such as live worksheets, quizzes, and Kahoot were also used.
Now, as we've been engaging you so far, we need to remember that feedback and reflection plays an integral part in the teaching and learning process. So as you engage the students with whatever stage they may fit into, you need to learn to encourage mathematical thinking. You need to encourage participation. Because remember what we said in the initial part of this presentation, that City and Guilds, it's a what? It's a practical approach. It must be done from a practical standpoint. It is math made real for the students. So you must also remember to see and encourage growth in your students as they progress and as you engage them with the various curriculum. Let us have a look at a few model questions that the students can engage with or can be engaged with. Now, as you can see, it says Unit 209. Right away after you have explored each syllabus or each curriculum, you'd realize that this is a stage 2 topic. Let us look at the question. We're now looking at ratio and proportion. The following is Johnny's answer to a short quiz at the end of a series of lessons on ratio and proportion. Read each question carefully. Decide whether each answer is correct or incorrect, showing all steps used to arrive at your decision. The question says a map has a scale of 10 centimeter, which represents 20 kilometers. The distance between two places is 5 centimeters. What is the actual distance between the two places? Now, as you can see here, it is a multiple choice question and the options are there, and the correct response is it 40? Or is it 10? All right, I hope you realize that the correct response is 10 kilometers. I would have highlighted C for distraction. Now, I hope you realize that it is half of what 10 centimeter is, and you'd want the students to show you how they would have arrived at the 10 kilometers. Let us look at another question. You have here also ratio and proportion. A man wants to draw a wall on a plan. The wall is 5 meters long. The scale on the plan is 1 to 50. What is the length of the wall on the plan? All right. And you'd of course want the students to show you how they would have arrived at the correct response. And that's what I want you to understand. Although it's a multiple choice, I don't want you to just have the students select the answer and you mark wrong or right. You want to talk, engage the students in such a way that they show you how they would have arrived at the correct response and not just a selection. All right, let us see another model question. And it can be one that requires a little bit more reasoning. The ratio of cups of flour, cups of water in a pizza dough recipe is 9:4. A pizza restaurant makes a large quantity of dough using 36 cups of flour. How much water should they use? And once again, I do not want you to just practice having the students circle or select the correct response, but I want you to walk through the question with the students, let them understand the 9:4 ratio, and then let them transition to the other ratio where 36 now is in the place of the 9, because as you can see, the ratio is cups of flour to cups of water. And walk your students through it, encouraging them to show you working. Let's see the process, the thinking process. Remember, we want them to be critical thinkers. So you want to allow them to practice doing that, even though they're engaging with multiple choice items. All right, I hope you would have seen how easy these questions can be engaged. Let's just look at 5. If there are 120 men and women on a committee, and the ratio of men to women is 5:1, how many more men are on the committee than women? So we have a whole, we have a ratio. Engage the students, reason with them, have rich, meaningful math discourse, and walk them through the process in understanding how to use the ratio to look at the whole and come up with the correct response. All right, now one of the awesome thing about the City and Guilds exam, which you will also see in other external exam or exit exam, is that at the end you have a report. The chief examiner's report helps to guide not only the students that pass, but the teachers to see if the method, their instruction needs to be looked at and adjusted. So here we have the examiner's report for July 2022. This report is based on the cohort which sat the mathematics paper in July 2022. The question paper is based on the learning outcomes and assessment criteria for 3850 as stated in the qualification handbook. Many of the questions are based on the sample context, but question may be based on any aspect of the assessment criteria. This report refers to the assessment criteria causing particular concerns to candidates. So this is to better equip you in how you move forward with if you are carrying the same students who are going to sit on another stage, or you're engaging new students. Let us go straight to stage 3. Now here we have the number of candidates who sat the stage 3 examination. As you can see, the percentage for those who received the distinction, there's a percentage for those who received a merit and the pass, and also the percentage of the students who would have not been so successful in the examination. However, what I want you to focus on, teachers, is that the chief examiner's report gives us an overview of how our students performed and what part of the curriculum what we saw their strength, or he saw or she saw the strengths and the weaknesses, and help you better gauge yourself as you engage new students with the curriculum. Let's just have a look at that. Candidates, so here it is now an overview of how the stage 3 students would have performed. Candidates appear relatively confident when working with integers, percentages, and decimals, but still experienced problems working with fractions. So
What this tells you, that if fraction was not explored very well last year, you may want to do that this year, especially if you are moving the students either to CSEC or you're moving them along this various stages. The section on ratio and proportion was more challenging at this level, and range continued to cause problems. Both measurement and standard units and some aspect of shape and space cause problems. So as you can see, the report also itemizes the units and tells you how the students perform on a general basis in each unit, and that's something you can have a look at. Now here at the end of the report, it gives you an overall view of what the students should know. So these are like pointers. Candidates at the stage 1 should be aware of different terms of the 4 operations. So they ought to know addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. In particular, from this paper, find the difference. So there are some things that the examiner report will make very clear to you on what you want the learners to look like when they are ready to do their summative assessment, which is their 60 multiple choice items to complete their course in whatever stage they engage in. And last, it says candidates should know that perimeter is the distance around a shape and is measured in linear units. It is not sufficient to add up the numbers shown at this level, as all the measurements may not be shown. So they need to understand the concept of perimeter and not just look for the numbers and add them, even if there are 3 numbers and the perimeter has 4 sides. So these are things that the teachers, I would love for you to understand, that as you engage with the City and Guilds curriculum, make yourself aware of all the information, all the resources that are available for you, and if you familiarize yourself with these documents, you are more than capable in engaging the students and allowing them to explore either stage 1, 2, or 3 in the City and Guilds curriculum. Thank you all for listening, and I hope that all that was said makes it easier for you to understand and engage with the City and Guilds curriculum. Thank you so very much for watching.
Thank you so much again, teachers, for sticking and staying with us to the end of our math workshop. I hope you've grasped a lot of strategies and ways in which you can engage your students. But I also want to remind you to complete the survey, as what you give us back in answers, we will be able to decipher how we can best serve you come next year. Also, I'm reminding you that you'll be receiving a digital badge to the email address that you gave to us upon entering or registering for this workshop. Of course, that badge will validate your continued professional development having participated in this math workshop. We want to thank you for continuing to serve the nation's children, and we thank you also for your continued support of City and Guilds. Please see you next year.